Hello there, Razzle48 here. Today we're going to continue talking about the new BBTAG characters and what I think about them. I still haven't decided what three I'm going to do this video, but we're going to start with Yumi. I assumed you watched the first one already, so let's dive right in. So, Yumi is the last brand new character to be added that I haven't talked about this patch. She has not been in any other fighting games to date. And so, her moveset is all original, so all we know is what we have seen and the very short few things that people have seen at CEO Otaku. So, her normals, let's start with her normals. Her normals look quite good. Like her 4A, for example, it looks like Yukiko's, but faster. Which is kind of sad already, like rip Yukiko. But anyway, her 5A is sort of like Elizabeth's 5A, in that where she throws that ring out and then it comes back to her, which is really good for pulling enemies in, and it has decent range as well. I don't think she also has it in the air like Elizabeth does, which is kind of a little detrimental to her. Like, having that in the air would definitely really help, but overall her normals look good. Now, her projectiles are insane. She reminds me a lot of old Jin, like from the old BlazBlues, like Continuum Shift, with her projectile arcs and the fact that she can use meter in the air to throw 3 at different angles. That it does remind me a lot of Jin from the past games. Jin used to, in Continuum Shift, for example, used to be able to spin meter to throw 3 ice missiles at 3 different arcs at his opponent, and that was a really good move, and I got really sad when they took it out. So Yumi having this move is insane. When she's on the ground, she can use meter to throw 3 projectiles at the same time, which is probably going to be really insane for active switch nonsense, just having 3 different projectiles come at you and then active switching out of the character. I think that's going to be really, really good. Honestly, I think Yumi's just in general real good. Her mix-up is insane. Like, her Rekkas, the fact that she can, like, do an overhead or a low out of them and combo off of them. And from what I don't know how reactable it's going to be once the game comes out, but but from what I've seen so far, Yumi's mix-up is some of the most ambiguous in the game, and it looks like she may have the best solo mix-up out of the whole cast by herself, like without a partner or any assists. This character looks really dangerous. We'll have to wait until she comes out to figure out if her stuff is choreographed or not, because that's why I always used to say that Mai was no big threat back in Central Fiction, because all of her Rekkas and her mix-up was choreographed, and you could basically predict what she was going to do based on the string of routes that she did ahead of time. So I don't know enough about Yumi to know if she's going to be quite like that, but as it stands right now, her mix-up looks really, really good. Like, being able to go high or low when she can. What else does she have? Let's talk about her 5C. It's broken. The end of story. I think it's the best 5C in the game. It goes full screen. It's super fast. It's at like the height of jump height, which means you can't even press normals and hit her out of it. It looks like you just go over it. Like, I think Yumi has the best 5C in the game, and like, her projectiles are good, her normals are good, her mix-up is looking really good. So, what are this character's weak points? So, I think that this character isn't as good defensively. So, let's talk about her DP first. So, her DP is a lot like Nine's, except bigger. And so, I'm going to talk about Nine's DP for a little bit because it's very comparable. So, the pluses. Obviously, a big plus of having a DP like Yumi's is that you do not need the DP to autocorrect to catch people trying to cross you up. If someone instant air dashes over you and she DPs, it's still going to clip them just as much as if they like just empty jumped in front of you. It has a really good hitbox for that. And also, it's air OK, which speaks for itself, having an invulnerable aerial move, even if it's not air unblockable if she's in the air. It'd be good. It's just good to have DPs be air OK in general. We know this from Narukami, we know this from Ragna, and we know this from, who else? I know someone else has, like, a air OK DP, and Nine. Like, Nine's is the comparable one. Nine's is air OK as well. And Yumi's is even bigger, so that's good. Obviously, it doesn't have that much forward range or upwards range. It's a lot like just a general hitbox around her, kind of like Mitsuru's, except for the fact that it doesn't arc upward as much. It's definitely not the worst DP, and I'm not even sure that I'd call it bad in general, But she's definitely a character who can get outspaced. Like, I think that if you have a character with rather large hitboxes like Yuzuriya, for example, or perhaps Labris, or like any kind of zone, like Batista could easily space her sweep, for example, at a range where there is no way Yumi's DP would land. So Yumi's gonna be have to be a little careful on the defensive front. She does have a counter, but I don't know how good I don't think her counter looks all that great. To be fair, just as a side note, it looks kind of like Weiss's, and it looks like it'll just kind of be forgotten very similarly to Weiss's, how it costs meter and isn't even the best. On top of that, you can combo off it, but it's still not that great. Her supers are also not that great for defense. She has the ice projectile super, which doesn't look like it's really fast enough to like throw out in neutral like Toga, for example, or like Zeodyne to catch people doing stuff. It looks more like a combo ender than anything. And then she has like Platinum Lolly Tornado, which is probably going to be her reversal super of choice if you're up in her face. And also probably the one that she'll catch bursts with. It's alright if they're in your face and you're trying to reversal super, or you're like waking up and you know they're gonna mash buttons and you reversal super. It's fine for that, but it definitely doesn't have the greatest hitbox. So, given that hitbox is not that great, and that her projectile super doesn't look like it's all that fast, I think that this character may struggle a little bit with zoning, and I say only a little bit because, like I said before, this character's projectiles are insane. And I didn't even talk about the, like, icicles that come out of the ground. Like, it's a lot like Unlimited Jin used to be, where Jin's old 2D made an icicle come out of the ground a certain distance in front of him, and Unlimited Jin had 3 that came up, like, in succession in front of him, and it looks like Yumi's also does that, but in the opposite pattern, where one comes up in front of her, then in front of her again, then a little bit further on. So, out of all of these moves, well, not all out of all these moves, but out of some of her auto combo strings, as well as out of this, as well as out of her like Rekkas, I believe, and out of these like icicle things, she can like do her automatic follow-up. She has like this air dash attack which automatically follows up, which is from her original game, Simran Kagura Estival Versus. I played a little bit, not much, but I do remember that mechanic being in there. So her combo routes are going to be insane because of the extensions that these follow-ups are going to give her. I believe I saw her doing multiples, well, like one after another, which is really, really good. For her solo combo potential, for her combo extension in general. So overall, I think Yumi's going to be really, really good. Not the best character on the defensive front. She's definitely more of an offensive character. Her toolset is definitely built to give her more offensive capabilities than defensive, in my opinion. But offense is a lot more important, if you ask me. So I definitely think this character is going to be good. As I think that how good she is very much dependent on how her Rekka mix-up ends up being, and just how optimal that ends up being, and how much you'll be able to see coming, if it can be incorporated into active switch cross-ups or not, which it more than likely can. But how well it functions just with Yumi herself is going to be a big deciding factor in how good this character is. But I do feel comfortable saying that she is most likely to be high tier. I don't wanna like say top tier just yet. Nor do I want to say mid tier just yet. Because the defensive tools are not the best. But definitely high tier is what I am thinking for Yumi. So that's Yumi. Who do we want to talk about next? You know, we'll just go in the order of the video. We'll go Adachi next. So Adachi's a very interesting character. So Adachi is from Persona Ultimax. It's great to know, just as a side comment, that they are upgrading to Ultimax. We're gonna get Adachi's song. Oh, that's another thing. Did y'all know that there's like over 10 songs they're adding? Akatsuki's getting his original theme, and his theme from Under Night, and the like opening theme from his whole game, and we're getting Blitztank's theme, and like 2 songs from Simran Kagura for Yumi. We're getting the Arcana Heart opening theme. in the game. We're getting Must Die, we're getting God of War, and one thing obviously for Neo, all the character songs from all the characters they got, and it's great. But I just wanted to mention that. Anyway, so Adachi, so let's talk about his buttons first. So he has gun poke. So fun fact, I have not seen Adachi shoot his gun in anything in his moveset, which is pretty funny. But Adachi's 5A is gun poke. Back in the Persona Arena line, if you did gun poke, it automatically the maximum number of gun pokes. It doesn't do that anymore. It looks like 5A most likely, and in this game, it only does the follow-up gun pokes like on contact. If you like press the button again, I think it may be 5AA. So that's really good for Adachi. The fact that he could throw that button out there without having to commit to it nearly as much as he used to be able to, as he used to have to, rather. He's got JC, which is a big part of his neutral game. Adachi just jumps around and JCs a lot. That's a huge part of his neutral, and it's very terrifying because it's very big and it's very fast. So if you didn't play Persona, look out for that. Adachi is going to be just jumping in the air and pressing that button a lot of the time. So what else does Adachi have? Adachi has Heat Riser. It used to be a super. It is now a special, but it still buffs him, just like his super used to be. I'm not sure about the specifics of the buff. I think it is a slight damage buff, not too much, maybe around 10% or something, on the lower side of things like that. But the fact that he could just like put that in his combo and just get an automatic buff is really good for him. He did not have that last game. Last game he did have to spin meter on a super to get that. He has this command grab, which is really good for any character's mix-up in general, to just have a command grab that they could just stop a combo and like just reset their opponents with the command grab. That's really good for him. He has Zeodyne. Zeodyne is also going to be real good for him. He has a fast one, which is really insane. I don't think he actually had a fast one in Persona Ultimax, but now it's like similar to a Batista laser, but even bigger, which scares me a lot now that I realize that and phrase it that way, because Batista laser can like lock down characters all by itself. But he also has the slow one, and he can still move after the slow one startup. It has a lot of startup, so if you see him starting it up and recognize him starting it up, you can Toga full screen, you can Zeodyne full screen, you can Batista laser super full screen, you can do any of those magical things full screen that you want to do to just hit him out of it if you recognize he's doing B version. But if you let him start it up, it's all over. It's like he gets the same Oki off of it that Narukami would back in the old days if he Zeodyne Rapid, which is the same thing Adachi got to, honestly. So, Adachi can do B Zeodyne and then run at you while it's locking you down, which is gonna be very scary if you let him do that. So don't let him do that, is my word of advice. What else to say? I do believe he has his anti-air command grab. I'm not too sure about how this move works in this game exactly. It grabs people out of the air. Obviously. So Adachi also has his 5B is like Narukami's old 5A or what is it? I forget. It was like Narukami. I don't know. It's a move Narukami's Persona has where he just stabs you. He used to do it like after 5C a lot in the Persona days. But that's a really good normal to have for Adachi on the ground. What else does Adachi have to discuss? Adachi has that huge spiral aura thing, the huge like spiral pillar that comes out of the ground. That's that move doesn't look too good. It doesn't look like it has the best range, and I'm not entirely sure what kind of combo routes you can do after it. You're probably only really going to be using that move in a combo after throw, from what I've seen. And so that move doesn't look like it'll do him much good. He does have Myriad Slashes, I believe it's called, which does hit full screen. It's not plus on block anymore, which is good for everyone else. But having like full screen super to just punish anything on reaction is always a good thing. What else can I say about this character before moving on to his defensive options? He has I believe that I heard that he can still loop his like anti-air grab, because in the corner where it goes something like anti-air grab gun poke, anti-air jump, anti-air grab, and then you can like loop that. I haven't seen it happen, but I've definitely heard that it can. I know that they tried it on stream a few times and the player just couldn't do it, but I have heard that that is a thing for him. I'm forgetting off. Oh yeah, he has cross slash, which is absolutely insane. He definitely did not used to have cross slash. It has a big hitbox. It does the big damage just like Narukami's, and cross slash is just good in general. I don't know if it'll be as safe as Narukami's, because even though Narukami's cross slash isn't like entirely safe, it can be rather hard to punish. So I don't know if Adachi's is going to be as safe on block as Narukami's is. Will still more than likely be punishable, but I don't know if it'll be hard to punish or anything. So that's Adachi. What else does he have? He has cross slash. No, well, I just said he has cross slash. I mean, he has what his old cross slash used to be. His old cross slash used to be J2D, in which Magetsu Izanagi, his persona, would lock onto you and just come out of the top of the screen, just slam on you with an overhead that did 2k raw. And Adachi has that. He has it both by himself and as an assist. But it's definitely worse in this game, because not only does it not hit high, but it also costs meter if you're doing it by himself. So, speaking of assists, I didn't talk about assists. So, I just mentioned, real quick, Adachi's neutral assist is his old DP. His new DP is trash, but we'll get to that in a minute. And his anti-air assist is real good. It's effing huge. That's all there is to say about it. It's like, it might be even bigger than Ruby's. That thing is enormous. So Adachi's assists do look really, really good. I'm not entirely sure about the cross slash assist, because just having a projectile assist like Narukami Zio would be better, I feel. But so yeah, that's Adachi. Yumi's assists, by the way, she has a multi-hit neutral assist, a generic anti-air assist, and a projectile assist. Very standard stuff, but still quite solid for Yumi. Anyway, back to Adachi. So Adachi's DP is absolute trash. It's a counter, and I have no idea how it works. Like, sometimes I have seen people hit him, and he like charges at them and counter hits them out of it as his reversal, and sometimes I've seen people just counter hit him out of his DP stance, and so I don't know how it works. It just looks bad. It's bad in general. If he would have had his old DP, that would have been strictly better, but unfortunately that is an assist, and I believe it may be part of an auto combo as well. And I already talked about his supers. He does have cross slash, which is a very, very good reversal option. A very, very good reversal super to have, so that definitely makes up for his trash DP a little bit. You're still gonna have to watch out for wake up cross slash and cross slash when he's under pressure. But yeah, character is he's pretty good. I definitely don't think he's bad. I don't really think that this character has any active switch nonsense, though. Like, he has command grab, but I don't think that'll be all that terrifying for active switch nonsense. If you let him start up BZiodine and active switch out of it, that's probably going to be the best nonsense he has, but still, I don't think any of his stuff is too insane. He has solid normals. And I'm not exactly sure how high his damage goes. I don't think his damage is all that insane from what I've seen. He is very comparable to Narukami, because Narukami also does not get big damage. Narukami's general combos like mid-screen are just auto combo into Lightning Car for 4K, and Adachi mid-screen looks like he may be very similar. So I'd put this character at a solid mid-tier. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's that good either. He's definitely solid, but that's as far as I'll go. I definitely don't think he's insane or anything. Just a solid character in general. So now let's talk about Susano'o. Susano'o is a scary man. So you may have heard me react in my reaction. I wanted to quit the game when Susano'o got revealed, and I still kind of do, really. But let's talk about him. So, Susano'o, what can I say? He has tail as a normal, which is super fast. It's super big, super fast, and it leads to the big boy damage. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say right off the bat, I have seen this character get 8.2k mid-screen with no assist and no meter, like off of Tail. And Tail is a very, very fast normal. So this character still has his big boy damage, which makes him horrifying all by itself. So, Susano'o mains, the first thing they probably realized when seeing his gameplay is that he has no seals, which obviously means he has all of his moveset at the beginning of the match. Susano'o players are probably really going to like that. I personally don't mind, as someone who hates the character, because in CF, if you were a good Susano'o player, you could get what you wanted when you wanted to anyway, because you could just unlock it in neutral, you could unlock it during your combo, and all of that stuff. And I believe the level 2 or level 3 versions of some special moves were just so obscenely powerful in CF, and him having just all of what looks to be the normal versions in his moveset, as opposed to the super powerful level 2 or 3 versions, looks like he'll make for a much healthier character for the game state or for the game in general overall. So he has his, so Tail's really good. I don't know what his other normal is. I don't know what his 5B is. Rather, I know that his old, overhead stomp that he used to like stomp your head in, his old overhead stomp is now part of an auto combo, and it doesn't hit high either. So no one will have to worry about that. So this character has, I'm not entirely familiar with the name of it. Oh, Grand Viper, that's what it's called. So Grand Viper is an insane combo extender to go from like any combo on the ground into an air route, and it does the big boy damage. So this character definitely has the big boy damage. What else does he have? He has Sword, which costs 1 meter, which is a huge hitbox move. I'm not entirely sure what kind of combos he can get off of it, but just having a move like that that you can press in neutral, even if it costs meter, is always good for a character. He can spend meter to get his command grab. He can combo off of it, which is absolutely horrifying. And it does give him free corner carry no matter where he is on the screen as well. So that is also insane for his mix-up. Some people will call it slow. I definitely don't think so. That move's absolutely insane. He has the Rasengan is what I call it, the Sphere. Sphere just looks like a meme move. I'm not entirely sure if it has all that much practical application in this game. Like, if you're trying to style for someone or just say you're bad, then you can go for sphere loops in the corner with cross combo. But in a serious match, I don't see Sphere being all that great. What else does the character have? He's Grand Viper. He has I don't know what else. I know he has Sonic Ball in the air. I'm not sure if it still hits high. If it still hits high, that's insane. He has a sort of anti-air super where he does Sonic Ball into like the Grand Slam. The hitbox kind of reminds me of Mika's anti-air super a little bit. He can, what else can this character do? This character can active switch out of his command grab, which makes it even more horrifying, because then you get corner carry and then off of a cross combo, which means then any character you partner him with gets like can then get their corner combos for no reason. What are his assists? His assists are insane. He has an anti-air assist, which is rather large, a little bit smaller than Naoto's anti-air assist, I want to say. He has a neutral assist, which is just a generic charge forward, a solid hitbox, but being only one hit, I don't think it's that great. And his forward assist is his old 6A, which is that invisible projectile that went full screen instantly. And I don't think he has that by himself anymore, which is really good, because that, like, single-handedly screwed up a bunch of characters neutral of him having that button back in CF. So, he still has the big boy damage, and he still has Tail, which, if you ask me, is all he needs to be solid just by itself. His run still has startup, so probably not he'll probably be jumping at you a lot, for his air movement. I'm not familiar with his air buttons. I know he still has his old jab as 4A. So which isn't that great because Susano'o doesn't have the best jab pressure. He'd more just press his super plus buttons on you. But in general, I think that Susano'o isn't going to prosper as much in this game as he used to, because the main thing that made Susano'o scary last game was the fact that it's like you could feel how plus his stuff is on block, and then he could just touch you and you'd just be stuck in the Susano'o like block stun for the rest of your life until he hits you with some of his mix-up. And this game has Reject Guard, and Susano'o's moves are very big moves that he has to commit to, and this wasn't a problem back in CF because you had to block all of them all once he got started with tail, which is just an insane normal. But in this game, there's Reject Guard, so Reject Guard Lightning Car, Reject Guard Ice Car, Reject Guard, any of those moves, Reject Guard 5B with new 13, for example, are all things that Susano'o is going to have to watch out for, because he can't just like press his big buttons once he gets a block string going on you anymore and just get free pressure for 20 billion years. So I definitely don't think this character is going to be nearly as good as he was back in CF. He still does the big boy damage, and he still has tail. His DP does hit both sides of him. It has a solid hitbox, goes a little bit into the air, and will catch cross-ups as well. It has a little bit of forward range, probably about as much forward range as Yumi's. Maybe goes a bit higher, but catches cross-ups. It's an alright DP. It's definitely not one of the best. So Susano'o could he'll be like mid. I almost want to say low, because Reject Guard just by itself really screws up Susano'o. His damage is very reminiscent of Hakumen's, except he just doesn't have to use the meter. But I think that Susano'o is going to have a harder time getting in this game than Hakumen because of Reject Guard. I think Susano'o may be the character in the cast who suffers the most from Reject Guard's existence. But that's just a theory right now, pre-release, with us not knowing how he's going to work exactly, and just how good he's going to be once people get their hands on him and start seeing what kind of practical application he has. He may be absolutely insane again, he may be mid to high tier, but as of right now, I'm probably going to place him at low tier because of Reject Guard, and because this game is a game much less suited for Susano'o and what he tries to do, even if he doesn't have to unlock his stuff anymore. Because like I said, in the last game, if you're fighting a good Susano'o, they're not going to have a problem unlocking what they need. So that's what I think about these three characters, Susano'o, Adachi, and Yumi. Tell me what you think in the comments. Last part coming out potentially relatively soon. So Yumi, probably, I'm leaning high tier right now, Adachi mid tier, and Susano'o mid-low tier, probably leaning low tier. So, tell me what you think in the comments as well. Tell me anything I pointed out. I know Susano'o has another super, and I completely forgot what it is. Oh yeah, it's Sword. It's just Sword. It's just a huge full screen sword, so he has full screen punish. Which is kind of insane, but it is a bit slow. So I don't know how many of those startup frames completely freeze the screen and give the other opponent time to react. But I stand by my original assessment, him being low tier. So for now, this is Razzle48 saying goodbye, and I will see you next time.